This week's video is a topic that I think all of us can relate to, and that is unanswered prayers. When we pray for something real good, not like winning the lottery or to become a famous movie star, but something good like someone is healed or a marriage is saved or someone finds a job and God doesn't seem to answer. And as people of faith, we struggle with why wouldn't God answer that prayer, which was so important, which seemed so essential. And I think all of us, me included, struggled when God doesn't seem to answer our prayers. How can our good and loving and merciful God not give us something that we plead for, that's something that we so much need? And it's taken me a lot of years, but not that I have all the answers to this, but I'd like to share with you a personal experience that's given me a different perspective on how sometimes in hindsight, we realize God might not have answered the prayer the way we wanted to, but really gave us a much bigger blessing in return. I know one of the biggest disappointments in my life as far as prayer goes is with the death of my Nana. Shortly after I was ordained, as a matter of fact, 3 weeks, my Nana was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. 7 weeks after I was ordained a priest, which I'll never forget, on the day of my first Mass, she hugged me and said, "Now I can die happy because I've seen you ordained." And I didn't realize how poignant and how true those words would be. But 3 short weeks later, she was diagnosed with brain cancer. And by the middle of August, had passed away. And I remember being so angry with God in all of that because I was pleading with him that she could be healed, that we could get some more time. And she was taken from all of us so quickly. And I was angry with God because being the oldest grandson and in an Italian family, my sister and cousins would tell you that I was the favorite, but my Nan and I had a very close relationship. She was one of my greatest cheerleaders, one of my greatest supports. And I remember feeling lost and adrift as a new priest, trying to figure all of this out when this essential support system was taken away from me. And as I said, I was angry with God. I was embittered with him. Why did he not answer my prayer? Why did he take her away when I needed her so much as a newly ordained priest? And it wasn't until years later when a priest friend made a comment to me that there was this courage that I seemed to have in my life, whether it was battling cancer 2 times, being in some pretty rough parish assignments, merging parishes, being in an assignment where things began to fall apart with the other priests I was with and things got ugly, getting death threats, getting spit on, giving people communion, some really trying things that tried me to the very depths of my soul, that this courage would just come from out of nowhere to give me the ability to do what I needed to do. And it was his comment that got me thinking and praying, okay, where is this courage coming from? Where is this grace? And it was at that moment that God gave me an insight. And I realized that that support my Nana had given me in the flesh, so to speak, that I was so angry at God from taking away from me, was what had got me through those very rough and difficult times as a priest. God didn't answer my prayers to heal her and keep her here on earth because I really believe in my heart that I needed her intercession more in heaven. And it took me a lot of years to get to that, and I'm not saying it still doesn't hurt, and the sorrow and the pain of losing someone we love is still not very real. But helped me realize that my anger at God was misguided because God had heard my prayers, but she could do much more for me in heaven than she could here on earth. And my friends, that has been my experience of that God does answer each and every one of our prayers. Sometimes with a much bigger blessing than we were asking for. But sometimes it hurts to get that blessing because we don't see the bigger picture. And maybe sometimes we will see it in retrospect. Maybe sometimes we'll only see it in the kingdom of heaven. But as people of faith, we do know that no prayer goes unanswered before God. Many times they're not answered how we think is best, but as how God thinks is best. And many times, as I found out in my experience, something that causes us such pain and difficulty because we think God has ignored us or forgotten about us is that God has heard our prayer and given us a much bigger blessing than what we were asking for. That was my own experience. It helped me grapple with the reality of unanswered prayers. Hopefully that gives you some insight in that real life grappling of unanswered prayers that all of us struggle with. To believe and to trust that God always hears us, answers our prayers and what is best for us, even if we don't always recognize that at the time.